So in this video I'm going to explain you about interface. So in last video I had already teach you about why interface is necessary. So in this example we have seen this is a smartphone. This is phone. Phone are having functionality call, call, power off. Music player is also having same different functionality, play music, power off, and camera is having its own functionality like on click and power off. But there is a common method, that is power off is applicable for camera, for music, and for phone. Okay, but the smartphone is having all these functionality, that is camera, music player, phone call, and all. In Java, if you try to use these all of three by using extends keyword, so it is not possible in Java, because when you use create object of smartphone and when you try to access this switch off method, then in Java it creates an ambiguity that exactly which method should I call, phone method, music player method, or a camera method. So to avoid this, interface is introduced in Java. So first I will ask you one question. What is class? So class is a blueprint of making an object. So you will ask, so what is a blueprint? Why class is called a blueprint? I will tell you with real-time example. Suppose if suppose you want to create one house, first you will create one template, one blueprint to create an house. So house is a real world entity, and by referring the template you are creating an house. So that is the same applies to the in Java. So this car, the car is a class, is a blueprint, and you are creating this object car1, and same by using car template blueprint you are creating the car2 object. So that's why it is called a blueprint. Class is called a blueprint. And what about interface? So interface is a blueprint for class. In my last video we have learned about the abstraction. So this is abstraction class. So animal is generic, so that's why we create as abstract class, so that anyone, cat, dog, can implement that his method. So in abstract class they are having fields, they are having abstract class, abstract methods, constructor, parameterized constructor, and they are having the concrete methods. And which class want to extend, they can override his method and they can use it. So that is for abstraction. But in interface, this class in interface is only having abstract methods and static constant. Interface use case. So to achieve the multiple inheritance and to achieve abstraction, so that is the use case of interface in Java. We have created one package, that is interfaces, and we have created one interface animal, and in that we will write one method, public abstract void, suppose it. Okay, so here this thing are what here is saying, that please remove abstract modifier, and it is also showing one error, that is remove public access modifier. So here is the thing. So in interface by default when you declare any method, so it is by default public abstract. So if you are writing this, so it is redundant. So if you don't write this, then by default it is public abstract. Okay, so after that, this is the imp this is the template, and these template are used by classes, that is dog. We have to implement this, and here is showing error. Implement the method, that is it. Suppose when you write over here dog is eating, and suppose we will create one another class, that is cat, who is implementing the same animal interface. It will show implement the method. So in this method we will write eating. Okay, so when you try to create animal of dog equals to dog, we will find eat method. Similarly for cat, when you create cat, new cat, we will find same method eat. When we run it, it will show dog is eating and cat is eating. So cat and dog having its own implementation by using this interface. Okay, so we can also write this in this manner, like animal, like by referring to the animal we can create the object of dog. Similarly, by referring the animal, we can create object of dog dot eat. There is no any difference. We will comment out this. It will show the same result. Okay, now, so in this class, so in this interface, there is one, we can also write field like public static final int max. So here is showing, this is showing that remove the final modifier. It will also show the remove the static modifier. It is showing remove the public modifier. Means by default the field inside the interface are public static final. So while declaring this, we have to initialize something value, because it's a public static final. So if you don't write this, by default it takes as a public static final. Okay, if you try to access it in sysout, we will comment out this. It doesn't matter if you work with the reference with the animal also. And you can access this field using class, and also you can access this max field using animal, because when you declare this as a static final, so this belongs to this animal, belongs to the class. So that's why we can access directly using class name. Okay, from Java 8 the interface can have a static and default method. So if you write here, suppose add, void add something, and here is showing one error, that is this is saying that declare this method like this, but we want a static method, a static dot. So this is the static method, and this method can have body. So we can write here I am animal. Okay, so when you run this, it will show that I am animal. Okay, so you will ask me one question, like why there is a need of introducing the static void method in interface. I will tell you with real-time example. So before this static method in interface, we are using the implement utility class. For example, here is having one math class. I have to build a utility method to add the two numbers. So that's why I create one class, and inside class I have created one method, that is public static int add, and adding is taking the two numbers, is addition of two number. Okay, I am using this static because from anywhere we can access this. So when I try to run it, it will like math_util.add. Okay, so we have to write here this. So when I run this, it will give addition of two numbers. So because of this static void method from interface, it eliminates the addition math class to create a utility method, because this can also we can write in by creating this method interface, like interface math operation, and we can add this utility method over here. Just eliminate this, remove this class, there is no need of this, delete anyway. So after that, when I try to run it, we have to just import it and run it. It will give the same result. The thing is that it eliminates the separate utility class, so that's why we use a static method in interface. We will see the default method. So default method is introduced because without having disturbance in implementing class, we can use this method inside the interface. For example, suppose if you are having this interface, animal interface, and suppose there are thousands of classes are implementing this animal class. Okay, and suppose if there is no any default method, suppose I write here public, suppose I write here void and stop. Okay, if I write this method, then suppose there are thousands of classes as implementing this animal. Sorry, already there is a method, so I will write here start. So now if you go in implementing class, so cat is implementing animal, so here is showing implement this method start. So in dog also it is showing the same error, that implement this dog. So if we're using thousands of 2000 classes there, so it is not feasible to add each and every method, each and every class. Okay, so that's why this default method is introduced. If you write this default method in a interface, so whichever class is implementing this animal, it will not force you to implement those method. So that is the use of this default method. Now you will ask, if you don't want to use this animal class, suppose there is a vehicle, here's the interface, vehicle interface, it's having method start, okay, and suppose car is implementing this vehicle and is implements its own method, that is start, which is declared inside interface. Same bike is also implementing the vehicle and using this, overriding this start method, and both car having stop method and bike is also stop method. So this is redundant method, correct? So to reduce this boilerplate code, so Java introduce this default method. So instead of using this, we can directly in interface we can declare this as a default. So there is no need of this method to write in each and every class. We will test this. So in test we are creating this vehicle car object, and this is a parent. So by referring the vehicle we are creating the car object and we are using the start method, and this is the use a default implementation. By using car we can use stop, that is the default method present inside the interface. And for the bike also we are using the start and stop. So when you try to run, it will show car start, car stop, bike start, car stop. So sorry, so this is a generic, so instead of using we can write here this vehicle stop. So where is a car start, vehicle stop, bike start, vehicle stop. So that is the purpose of default method. I forgot to mention that this default method only accessible inside this car and bike. It will not accessible for this vehicle interface. Okay, see here, I'm calling this car and calling this default method. Suppose I wanna like here vehicle dot, so here is they are no showing in stop method. It is only accessible to his implementation class. Okay, discuss about multiple inheritance. So inheritance in inheritance session we have learned that in abstraction multiple inheritance is not possible. I will revise. So here is a camera having this functionality like on click, power off. A music player also having the functionality that play music, power off, and phone also having its functionality like I am phone. Okay, and smartphone is a thing that having these four functionality like camera, music player, and phone call. Okay, when I try to extend it, it is not allowing me to implement this method. So that's why interface is introduced. Okay, now here I have replaced this class camera, music, phone into interface. Camera is the interface having his phone functionality. Music is the interface. Phone is the interface. Having is power off. Power off method is common for all of three: camera, music and phone. And they have just declared this method inside interface. And smartphone is having this all those functionality. Now, instead of using instant keyword, I am using implementation for interface. And Java is allowing to implement this method. So see. So here is implementation of on click, power off, play music, call. So yeah. So in this way, we can write this on implementation. So in this way, this multi-level inheritance is solved. Multiple is not possible because because in every class music player there is a power of method. So when you try to use it, Java get confused that which class power of method should be used. It is music, camera or phone. So in interface, it gets solved. So when you use it, we can write here method power of device. And when you test it, it will directly run. We'll just comment out this. When you run it, it will be calling in smartphone, click photos in smartphone, playing music in smartphone, and power of device. So in this way, the multiple inheritance is solved. Let's summarize the things. Here we have learned about interface, static methods and default method. Now, and its use case with real-time example. Now we will learn about key difference between these two. So in interface supports multi-level inheritance, but abstract classes not support multi-level inheritance. Variable inside interface only a final static final constant. An abstract class can have any type of variable. Constructor not allowed because inside interface there are no variable. Constructor is allowed because inside abstract class variables are present to initialize. Field state cannot hold state. Can hold state with an instance variable. So yeah, thank you guys for watching this video.